Satnam, I'm Yogigems. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher. In Kundalini yoga, when we're practicing, we generally practice with the eyes closed and rolled up and into the third eye point. This is the center of the brow, and it's known as the ajna chakra. This is the gateway to our intuition, to our inner knowing. So by focusing our eyes at this point in the center of the brow, it brings us into this very meditative space. It gives us a great sense of perspective, of inner knowing, of really following that inner wisdom that we all have. And on a physical level, it sits right in the center of the brain, and it controls so many functions, including our sleep, including our hormones. So many things come into balance through the pituitary gland. So it's a very important aspect of our anatomy, both subtle and physical. And this Kundalini Yoga Kriya, known simply as Pituitary Gland Set 2, is all about activating and aligning and opening up our pituitary gland, which of course opens and works with the third eye chakra, the ajna. So let's bring our palms together, give them a good vigorous rub, and bring your prayer mudra into the heart center. Take a deep inhale to lengthen tall through the spine. Keeping that length as you exhale, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Inhaling to lift through the heart. Exhaling to draw the chin in towards the neck. Let's take a deep inhale to tune in with our mantras. If you're new to the mantras, just listen in for now. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Take a deep inhale. Hold that breath in as you invite your higher self to guide you through this Kundalini Yoga practice, keeping you safe from injury and keeping the space that you're practicing in clear and protected. Exhaling, relaxing the hands down to the knees in Gyan Mudra, so you're touching tips of index fingers to tips of thumbs and just allowing those mantras to settle in the body, in the mind, bringing you into presence for your Kundalini Yoga. Good, so let's get started straight into our Kundalini Yoga Kriya, Pituitary Gland number 2. We've got our hands in prayer mudra, the fingers are up and out at 60 degrees. So that's not 90 degrees, it's not 45 degrees, it's 60 degrees. We've got the spine nice and long, the thumbs as close to the sternum as you can get them. The chin tucks in, the heart lifts. Now we're going to take a slow, deep in-breath through the nose. And we're going to hold that breath in for as long as is comfortably possible. We're not straining the breath here. We're staying within our capacity just for as long as is comfortable. And when you feel ready to exhale, you exhale long and slow and deep through the nose. And we repeat that process. So we're inhaling slow and deep. And we're holding that breath in just for as long as is comfortably possible to hold it. And then we're exhaling slow and deep. We're not holding the breath out. And importantly, as we move into this pranayama, we keep our eyes absolutely fixed to the center of the brow, to the ajna. And when we roll our eyes up and into the center of the forehead in this way, it corresponds with gazing towards the pituitary gland in the center of the brain. Of course, our eyes roll back when we close the eyes. So when we roll them up and in with that intention to the third eye point, it actually brings the eyes into correspondence with that gland in the center of the brow, in the center of the brain. This activates, brings awareness to the pituitary gland as we begin our process through this Kundalini Yoga Kriya of awakening, aligning, balancing, and expanding the pituitary gland. Good. Taking a deep inhale if you're not there already. Holding that breath in. Now we're going to squeeze more bum. So you're squeezing the anus and sex organs. You're pulling the navel in and you're feeling, sensing, imagining the energy rising up through the spine. We're going to take it through the pituitary gland in the center of the brain, all the way up to the crown of the head. Hold it, squeeze it, stretch up tall as you raise that energy up. And exhale, float the hands down. We're going to come straight into the next posture, which is rock pose. You can stay in easy pose if the heels, the ankles, the feet aren't very comfortable sitting on the heels. And if you can, if your knees are feeling flexible today, come into celibate pose. So you're sitting between the hips. If that's too much, stay in your rock pose or your easy pose, whichever is comfortable. The hands are resting on the knees or the thighs, wherever you're sitting. And we're going to move into a spinal flex. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Now again, the eyes need to be absolutely fixed at the ajna. In the center of the brow, just above the eyebrows. And we're breathing deep as we move deeply through the spine. Getting that spinal fluid moving, opening up between the vertebrae, just opening up this highway of energy that runs from Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine all the way up to Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head, activating and energizing each of the other chakras as it goes. That's it, moving generously, breathing generously. With your eyes ever steady at the ajna. Come into the center with a deep inhale. Hold that breath in as you squeeze tight through Mulabandha. Again, pelvic floor pulls up and you're feeling, sensing, imagining that energy rising up through the spine, up through the pituitary gland, right up to Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head. Hold it, squeeze it, stretch up as you raise the energy up, 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 up. And exhale, relax, release, turn the palms up. Gyan Mudra, index fingers touching thumbs. And just taking a moment here to be present with the energy in the body, keeping the eyes locked into ajna, not letting that point out of your sight. Inhale deep, exhaling fully. Good. Now we're going to release our celibate pose or our rock pose or our easy pose. We're going to come into a forward bend with the legs extended. We've got the feet flexed. We're holding onto our shins, our knees, shins, or our big toes if we can reach them. Again, eyes at the third eye point. As we inhale, we lift up. As we exhale, we lead with our heart towards our toes. The eyes locked into third eye point, not letting your ajna out of your sight. And you're imagining a golden cord from your toes to your heart. That means that you're kind of stretching forward rather than folding over and down onto the legs. It helps to activate the life nerve in the backs of the legs. This keeps us fresh and young and vital. It keeps our mojo moving through the body nice and fluidly. Good, breathing nice and steady with this movement. It doesn't matter if you can't come down very far. If you're just moving a centimeter, that's great too. As long as you've got this rhythmic movement going, you can feel a little bit of a stretch in the backs of the legs. If you're finding it very difficult through the hamstrings, they're very tight today, you might find it helpful to sit up on a block. That will help you just to experience that stretch in the backs of the legs. Inhaling up. Hold that breath in as you squeeze more bun, drive the energy up through the spine, up through the pituitary gland to the crown of the head. Squeeze it, lift it, stretch. You'll maximize that stretch on the backs of the legs. And exhale, relax, release. Walk your hands back up the legs. Bring them out behind you and just take a moment here to allow that energy to flow through the legs. Be aware of that movement of energy. And taking a deep inhale. Exhaling to drop the chin to the chest, opening the eyes to gaze down at the lap. And from here, we're going to come all the way up to standing. And we're going to step into our archer pose. So step the legs as wide as you possibly can, not so wide. But you want it to be so with your left leg at the front that your knee sits either directly above the heel and the ankle or just behind it. It doesn't arch beyond it. We've got our hands in thumbs up mudra to the front, and we're going to keep our left arm extended as we bring our right arm back. That right edge of the foot is angled out and it's anchored down into the earth. Turn to face that left thumb. The eyes are open and we're going to breathe long, slow and deep. The eyes gaze towards the thumb and you're kind of gazing slightly beyond it to infinity. So you're keeping your thumb in your focus, but you're gazing beyond it. You're kind of seeing the blurry outline of everything that is beyond the thumb. Breath is long and deep as you sit low into that lunge. Great for balancing the lower chakras with the higher, also fantastic for the auric field, for activating this lovely glow of energy around you. Keep that right elbow lifting, keep that heart open to the side of the room. And the breath is deep and slow. Take a deep inhale. Hold the breath for a moment. Close the eyes if you can as you squeeze more bund. And exhale, relax, release. We're going to shift sides now. So your right leg is at the front, left foot angles out. Thumbs up mudra. Slide that left elbow back. And with the eyes open and fixed towards that thumb, you're gazing to infinity. Remembering to keep that left elbow, that back elbow lifted so you can open up the chest and you're really pulling it back a little to open the heart to the side of the room. And again, you're sinking low into that lunge. Watch the knee. You don't want the knee to be folding in or altering its course. You want to kind of track it to the big toe. That back leg extended. Feel as if you're pulling the floor apart with your feet. Get a really Good activation through the legs as you sit as low as you can into that lunge. Gazing out beyond into infinity. Lovely activation happening here with that gaze at the thumb of the pituitary gland. Again, if you can, if your balance allows, closing the eyes, taking a deep inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze Mulband, and exhale. Relax the arms down, shuffle your legs towards each other. And we're going to drop the chin to the chest, open the eyes to gaze down at the earth, and come all the way down to sitting. In your comfortable, easy pose, let's take a moment here just to allow that energy to settle. Archer pose is very energizing, it's very active through the auric field, it's active through the pelvis, through those lower three chakras. So we'll just take a moment here just to feel the sensations in the thighs, in the hips, to feel that new energy in the body. Good. Now we're going to stay with our easy pose with our hands in Gyan Mudra on the knees, and we're going to do a breath of fire. So if you're new to breath of fire, it's a panting breath through the nose. If it feels a little bit too much for your practice today, you can slow it into a long, slow, deep breath. And as is the focus of today's Kundalini Yoga Kriya, the eyes come back to that drishti, that eye focus at the third eye point. Now we're bringing more energy to our ajna. Breath of fire is very energizing. It brings a lot of energy with it. Clearing, cleansing, and activating the pituitary gland. Keep the pituitary gland, the ajna, in your sight at all times. Now take a deep inhale. And we're going to hold this breath in as we squeeze Mulband. We pull that energy up through the spine, up through the pituitary gland to the Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head. We're holding this breath and we're squeezing and we're raising that energy up. Keep it held with the eyes at the ajna. Raise that energy right up, squeeze it, hold it, squeeze a little harder if you can. If you're feeling the need to exhale, just take another sip of breath. Hold, keep squeezing, keep lifting, keep holding. And exhale, relax and release. Keep the eyes fixed to the third eye point. And we're going to settle into a natural flow of breath. If that natural flow of breath feels a little inaccessible to you, just slow the breath down and breathe long, slow and deep. With the eyes fixed into the ajna, observing with a neutral mind this flow of breath in the body. Observing the rise of inhale, fall of exhale. Observing the sensations that arise with that movement of breath in the body. those very gentle touches of fabric on skin. Stay very present with all of it. Rest in this space of equanimity. Now taking a deep inhale and exhale fully. Take another deep inhale. With the eyes at third eye, exhale. Emptying out completely the belly, pulling the belly right back into the spine. Inhaling deep, swelling the belly out. Exhaling. Pulling that belly right back in, squeeze the breath out. Another one, deep inhale. Exhaling. Empty, 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 empty. Another deep inhale, last one now. And exhaling. Push that breath out, every last molecule, push, push out. And inhale. Relaxing the breath. We'll bring our palms together and just take a moment before our satnams to feel this energy in the body, this balance. When we balance and work with the pituitary gland, it not only opens us up to receive our inner wisdom, our inner guidance, those moments of clarity, of revelation that support us so much in finding our way home, but also in balancing the body, the hormones, in balancing our circadian rhythms. And just feel into that balance now. Let's take a deep inhale with a tall spine. Exhaling down to the earth, to the sit bones. Inhaling back up to the crown of the head. And exhaling into the center of the chest, the heart center. Let's take a deep inhale here for our Satnam. Truth is my name. Satnam. Dropping the chin to the chest, offering gratitude to body, mind, and breath for bringing you to this Kundalini Yoga Kriya, the Pituitary Gland Set 2, and sending that gratitude out into your life as far as it will go. And coming back into this space whenever you feel ready. Satnam, I'm Yogigems. I hope you enjoyed today's Kundalini Yoga Kriya. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe if you'd like to see more. And always so much gratitude to those who support me on Ko-fi. The link is below. And through the YouTube super thanks, there's a little thing that you can click just below the screen for that. Thank you so much for your support, your donations. They're so deeply appreciated. Lots of love to you. Have a wonderful day.